Great to have you join me today on Arise Africa. Welcome wherever you're watching from. Stay tuned to that television set and please throw away that remote for now. I am Temi Akwirene and I'm flying solo today. Chichi is not here with me, but I promise to have her back here in the next episode. But however, it's not going to be a dull moment with me because we have interesting packages lined up for you in this episode. And as usual, tradition or routine as you may call it, we start up with our African proverbs. I'll be right back in a moment. I'm glad to have you back. Hope you picked a thing or two from the African proverbs. Like I always say, proverbs are very important because when you look at the meaning, it's actually what is happening in our everyday life. And there are always morals. There are always lessons to be learned from them. I hope you did learn a lesson or two from those African proverbs you just saw. Well, moving on, the next segment is our interview segment. And we have a very interesting topic. I'm not going to tell you the topic yet, but I'll give you a clue to the topic. Now, you ever wore something and you think, oh, this is so classy, it's so nice, it's so trendy. And then maybe as soon as you leave your room and you walk into the sitting room, you see your dad or your mom. And they're like, wow, you look good. And you're like, oh, thank you, you're blushing. And like, this kind of reminds me of what I wore in the 80s or in the 90s. Maybe even in the 70s, and you start wondering, how can this man be telling me that he wore this thing in the 70s or in the 80s? Well, it's fashion. One thing that has not really changed or that you have to know is the fact that fashion has actually been evolving. Well, it leads to what we're going to be discussing in the interview segment. And I have a guest who's going to be doing that with me, so you're going to learn about the topic. We're moving straight to our interview segment, but after this very short break, stay tuned. Glad to have you back. It's the interview segment and we are going to be discussing a very important and interesting topic. Now, you've probably noticed that old school fashion is being recycled, reborn or relived. Now, what's so awesome or wonderful about old school fashion that we tend to wear it and we are very comfortable and happy in it, even though it's from the 90s or from the 70s, maybe even the 80s. There are some touches that have really made it evolved into what it is today, and I have a guest here that's going to be discussing that with me. We are talking about the rising trend of recycled fashion or old school fashion, as the case may be. He's none other than Mr. Tega Obaho. Mr. Tega Obaho is the CEO of TS Finery Fashion House. I'm trying to be slow so that I don't mumble up the whole thing. And also the founder of Fashion House. Well, and again, it's a little bit jumbled up there, but he's going to be get his whole portfolios right. But nice to have you on the show.
Thank you very much.
So, the topic at hand, you are no stranger to this topic. You are a fashion designer yourself. These days, we see old school fashion being recycled. Is it from the denim jackets we put on, or is it even the jeans you are wearing now? It's sort of recycled. In the 90s, things like this were rocked by dads then, and now it's trendy again. Now, what is bringing about this trend?
Okay, first of all, we all understand that a trend is something that is in vogue or popular at a particular period of time, something that is more celebrated. And as we know, fashion in general is not just the clothing. It has to do with the shoe, it has to do with the makeup, the hairdo, and how people dress at a particular period of time. Now, what we see today is something that has been used before. before I explain about the recycling, I need us to know something, that fashion has a basic foundation.
Okay.
That is being developed based on our body build.
Okay.
That is trousers, skirt, a top, or a gown. Now, no matter how much advancement we have in technology, fashion cannot exceed this circle.
Okay.
Skirt, trousers, top, and a gown. Now, the only thing we see is the advancement in the fabric that is being used.
Okay.
Then it is also, we also see combinations of either a top and a skirt or a top and a trousers, and then recycling, what we're talking today rather, recycling. So as long as there is life, as long as there is fashion, there must be a recycling of trends, because fashion cannot go outside that box I just said.
Okay.
So most of the things we use today are things that have been used before by our fathers. I was shocked when I was going through an album in the house, an old album, and I saw my mom wearing one off shoulder with a very big full stuff. I was like, this thing is what girls are rocking these days. They call it off shoulder. Then my mom said it was called money boku. That's money plenty.
Okay, that's it.
Yes, that's the name then. That it was called money boku, money plenty. And I also noticed that they had this thing they tie on their neck with the same material. They tie it on their neck. Yes, and ladies and
girls are using that.
That is what they are using now. And the difference is that we can now have chain on it, maybe a little bit of pendants on it dropping from it. So it's what we have seen before. It's what we have seen before that is coming back.
Okay, you made mention of the fabrics, that because of advancement of technology we are having new fabrics. Now, cast on concrete, if you are going to give me my dad's bell-bottom trouser from 1985 to put on, I would curse you, you understand? I wouldn't want to put it on. But so what happens then when what's the little tweak or the little edge that is being added to make it different from what it used to look like and make it appealing to the youth of today?
Okay. First of all, in fashion, we have, when it comes to that bell bottom, we've not gotten to that extent. We are getting there. We have not gotten to that extent where guys can actually wear bell bottom as big as the one our dads use.
Yes, that was why I used that as an example.
As big as our dad used. But I could remember that, talking about trousers, I could remember at a point there is this trouser we call baggy jeans. It's not as big as the bell bottom is a bit tight at the upper region and then free at the bottom. But for baggy, it's completely free from up to down, and then it transcends to a pencil trouser that we see guys wearing very tight pencil trousers. But recently, I've noticed, or what is reigning now, is that guys no longer use trousers as tiny as what we used in 2014. Now we use trousers a bit free and a bit bigger, but it has not gotten to that point where we'll have to be sweeping the ground with.
Okay. Yeah, definitely, and we may get there someday. But we are going to go on a short break, and when we return, we are still going to continue because there is a point I'm trying to drive at.
Okay.
So the point is the fact that we are embracing it without even knowing its source. Some of us don't know that this thing is actually from the 80s or from the 70s. We think it's even something that we've just evolved on our own, or rather that we just invented on our own. Don't know that it's from the 80s or from the 70s. So, but anyway, we are going to be taking a short break, and Take Our Bow is still with us. When we return, we are going to continue with the topic at hand. Stay tuned, don't go nowhere. We'll be right back. It's still Arise Africa, and it's still the interview segment with Tega Obaho, the CEO of TS Finery Fashion House. I'm going to get used to that. Well, the topic is still talking about the rising trend of recycled fashion or old school fashion in modern day. Now, the question I was going to ask before we went on the break rather, was the fact that we are embracing these old fashion trends, but not knowing sometimes the source.
Yeah.
We think it's something we've created, not knowing it's just an evolution. How come this? Why are people not conscious of the fact that we are just adding an edge to what was already existing, not knowing that it was actually existing before?
Talking about why some persons actually don't know the origin of some trends that we celebrate these days. This is because some style come in vogue and they break down for a couple of years. Some may break down for about 5 years, 4 years, 6 years, and believe me, within 6 years we have new generations. We have people that are just coming in. We have the young ones growing,
yes,
and they meet these things, they meet this style, and they think, oh, this is something that has just started, not knowing that it has existed before. Okay. It is only our parents who are still alive as at that time that would actually let us know, yes, or through pictures or video clips. But
that's true.
It is because some of these trends will stop for a long period of time before coming back.
Yeah. So some generation may have fizzled out.
Before then.
Okay. Now, quickly, let's look at the Ankara, the evolution of Ankara. Now we are coming to Nigeria. Yeah. If you take a look, you see that the Ankara fabric is really something that is in vogue right now. Maybe like 4 years ago, I wouldn't wear an Ankara trouser with a normal shirt, but now it's in vogue. And especially for the ladies, they make dongaris or overall from it. You know, you have a nice Ankara trouser with just a normal shirt, a normal top. That's kind of like combining a native and an English form. You know, the edge that Ankara has brought into the Nigerian fashion industry.
Okay, I would say that is a serious work that is going on by fashion designers in the fashion industry, because we have noticed that most of our people, Nigerians, they do more with English fabric. Yes. Understand? And the reason is because they feel Ankara is boring. Ankara is boring. So we designers, we are trying, and we have tried to a great extent, to actually make replicas of English wears with our fabric.
Okay.
Understand? To suit what the youths are looking for.
Yes.
Understand? We've seen we make suits with Ankara fabrics, and it will come out very fine. You know, Ankara has this beauty because of the color.
Yes.
It has beauty because of the multicolors and all that. And so if we can actually make a suit with an Ankara fabric, we can make a gown, a dinner gown with Ankara fabric, I believe the youth will appreciate it better. Understand? So it's not just the boba and wrapper that they used to know. So we're just trying to let them know that something beautiful can come out from Ankara fabric.
Awesome. Well, we won't leave the studio without talking about some personal achievements of yours. Okay. Very quickly, if you don't mind, would you run us through? You just recently won an award in Lagos. Yeah. Would you like to run us through that?
Okay. Well, it was a designer search by Daviva. Daviva is one of the most celebrated Ankara fabric producing companies in Nigeria and in Africa at large. And they actually wanted to crown somebody, a designer, as the best designer of the year. And I got to know about the competition. I entered the competition by making 2 designs. You have to make 2 designs with Daviva fabric.
That's Ankara.
Ankara, yeah. You make 2 designs with Daviva Ankara fabric and post it online. Then they select the best. It was all over Nigeria. Designers posted a lot of good pictures, good designs, but by God's grace, I was shortlisted by Daviva to top 10, and then it went down to top 5. And the funny thing about the competition was really hectic. The funny thing about the competition was that a day to the day we were to come to Lagos, they called us and told us to make extra 3 outfits with Daviva fabric. I was like, how am I going to do this? But I just had to put some things together, quickly go to the market, get Daviva materials and put them together. Then we went to Lagos. At Lagos, we had celebrities, top celebrities. We had people from outside the country that came and they celebrated my designs as most creative and most.
Yeah. And in the end of it all,
at the end of it all, I was crowned the winner, and we'll be having a fashion show in Lagos by next month, Kenabuti Fashion Show. That's the grand finale of the event, where my designs will be displayed. Daviva has already given me some fabrics. I'm going to be using it to create a lot of designs.
Well, congratulations on that.
Thank you very much.
Very, very, should I say, memorable achievement, because definitely not something you would forget in your life. And wish you more to come. Time will not permit us, because we still like to really look more into these old school fashion trends evolving and stuff. We may have you here next time, but that is all we can take for now. So we have to say our goodbyes and move on in the show. Well, it's still Arise Africa, and I hope you have not been bored sitting in front of your TV set and watching. The topic has been the evolution, or rather the rising trend of recycled fashion, or you could say old school fashion. Well, we've been talking to Tega Obaho, the CEO of TS Finery Fashion House, and also the founder of Fashion Sensation. I hope I got it right this time, because I've been struggling with it. That's kind of like a long portfolio there. Well, we are going to move to the next segment of the show. But before we do that, we've been talking about fashion and the rising trends and all. So we are going to do a very quick run of the top 10 fashion that have evolved from the 80s and the 70s that we are rocking currently. It's going to be brief. Enjoy it.
Fashion is all about trend resurgence. There are 70s flared trousers and necktie blouses, 90s chokers and tricked-out denim jackets, and a mix of other pieces that were seemingly brought back to life from our wardrobe's past. And while we're all about delivering a hefty dose of nostalgia into our everyday look, there are some pieces that have made a great comeback. We've compiled a list of items we think are becoming trendy again, along with a modern-day upgrade. Since what's old is definitely new again, it's only a matter of time until these 10 pieces are dominating fashion all over again. Firstly, we're having the peg jeans. The peg jean, also known as the tight roll, was not just rolling up your jeans. It involves folding over any XX fabric first and then rolling. That's where the tight comes in, you see. This is a great thing to do when trying to come up with an easy Insta 80s look. This style is now becoming trendy again among celebrities and in everyday fashion. Secondly, we're having shoulder pads. Serious shoulder pads have been a giant daunt since their 80s heyday. However, thanks to buzzy labels which now incorporate strong shoulders into almost every piece, it seems the trend is making a comeback. To keep it from looking too dated, skip the voluminous pants and try a silky shoulder padded blouse tucked into high-waisted skinny jeans and a killer pair of heels or platforms. Thirdly, we're having leather biker jackets, a classic piece of clothing that just never goes out of style. We are well and truly smitten with these lifelong wardrobe eras. Whether it's a biker, bomber, or oversized in shape, a leather jacket is always on trend. Admittedly, this would probably mean spending a little bit more if you want to wear a real leather, but for the quality and longevity, it can be totally worth it. And for number 4, we're having flannel shirt. From the 1970s through today, American flannel has been seen on everyone from aqua terrorists to lumberjacks to hipsters to celebrities, hot tech guys, and even eyebrow designers with a penchant for the plaid stuff. And for 5, oh yes, we're having dongaris or overalls. In all seriousness, what would the decade have been without overalls? They were fun to wear as a kid, no doubt. These days though, your typical 90s overall might not be such a good look. The key to making these onesies feel grown up is to find a well-fitted, more streamlined silhouette as opposed to just breaking out your vintage pair. And for number 6, we're having denim jackets. If you didn't have an oversized jean jacket in the 80s, you probably were doing something wrong. Cut to over 2 decades later and bold denim is totally back. Whether you score a legit style from the 80s or customize your own, make sure the denim's not too dark and the cut is fairly large. And for number 7, we're having mirrored shades. Cliche interpretations of the future were a large part of the pop culture landscape during the 80s, and bright, reflective, super mirrored sunglasses played into that in a big way. Recently, they've surfaced to the point where they're not even a trend anymore, just a preferential style. For number 8, we're having jelly sandals. No, your eyes are not playing tricks on you. The kicks you loved as a kid are starting to get a modern day makeover. Remember how comfortable and not to mention cool jelly shoes were? Exactly. The only thing we can't believe is that it's taken this long for their resurgence. And for 9, we're having platform heels. The history of the platform shoe is long and storied, and it hasn't always been about fashion. The sky-high shoe gave Greek thespians a much-needed boost on stage, and is actually outlawed at a certain point. Despite the popularity of the single-sole pump, most women today own some version of a platform pump. The platform shoe has become a real fashion staple for modern women. And finally, as number 10, we're having glitzy sequins. The 80s aren't associated with excess for nothing. Glitzy sequins were a staple of the decade, and thanks to designers like Balmain, Ashish, and Jill Stewart, they're back. A good rule of the thumb when playing with this trend: choose one statement piece and keep the rest of your look fairly basic.
It's good to know you are still there with me, and it's still, of course, Arise Africa. Hope you had a wonderful time with the interview segment where I had with Tegal Bahor, the CEO of TS Finery, talking about fashion, the old school trend that is being recycled, and of course the top 10 trendy old school fashion that are still in vogue now. Well, enough said about fashion. I'm going to put the icing on the cake, and it's the segment I like the most, the celebrity spot. And who else to add on our celebrity spot today other than a fashion icon himself? I'm tempted to call his name, but I'm not going to do that. So you're just going to wait patiently as we unveil our celebrity spot for today. Stay tuned.
Maya Tafo is a fashion artist, fashion editor, stylist, entertainment consultant, and compare. A sense of fashion, styling, and lifestyle are the inspiration and artistic expression of Maya Tafo, inspired for the young Nigerian designer with a natural flair and passion for everything fashion and life. Maya Tafo was born in Ile-Ife, Osun State. Though an indigene of Edo State, he spent most of his early life in Lagos before proceeding to the University Staff School, Benin, then the Federal Government College, Idoani, Ondo State. He holds a bachelor degree in agricultural economics and extension from Edo State University, now Ambrose Ali University, Ekuma, and then he obtained a postgraduate degree in information technology from City University, London, England. Before Maya Tafo ventured into the world of fashion, he lived life as a full-blown marketer in the corporate world. After almost 7 years in the United Kingdom, he returned to Nigeria to a job in British America Tobacco before moving to Guinness Nigeria PLC in 2007. In 2010, almost 4 years later, he took a career break from his role as senior brand manager at Guinness to become a full-time fashion designer. Between 2007 and 2010, Maya Tafo established and ran his clothing line, Maya Tafo Inspired, which he ran as he worked in a full-time job With the designs that are versatile, timeless, clean cut, and urban, it didn't take long for My Atafo to become a recognized name in the fashion world. His designs gained media acclamation by a pioneering clientele of mostly celebrities like ex-beauty queen Omomi Akinifesi, Ike Osaki-Oduwa, and a host of others. List of the celebrities who have been spotted in Maya designs on the red carpet or for photo shoots include actor Dakore Egbuson, Stephanie Okereke, Stella Damasos, Mercy Johnson, Benro Ajibade, Ramsey Noah, Munachi Abi, and Adeze Igwe. Musicians include Banky W, The Bench, Two-Face, M.I, Bez, Waje, and Omaomi, and other important clients such as JJ Okocha, Uti Wanchuku, Ebuka, and many more. However, despite the endless list of its celebrity clientele, the brand Mai is described by My Atafo as focusing on delivering the highest level of service to all its customers, regardless of their status. My aesthetic is instantly recognizable in its clothing, as its notable piece, The Resistance, remains its crested blazer, creating a fashion staple amongst the power dressers. The 2011 official launch of Weddings by Mai created a wedding line brand that caters to every clothing element of a wedding, from the bridal gown, bridesmaid dress, little bride's dresses, groom and groommen's suits, waistcoats, and cravats. Sitting as current creative director of My Atafo Inspired, he continues in the trail of his early career as a strategic director for an advertising agency, Firehouse Group, as well as Event Compare, emceeing the return of the Miss Nigeria pageant in 2010 after a 7 years break with a co-host, one-time Miss World Agbani Derego. My Atafo is a community mentor. He heads the Future Award Central Working Committee. My Atafo's success has been recognized with a number of awards, including 2 awards from the City People Fashion and Style as Hottest New Designers Male 2009, and special recognition in 2010 Mode Men Magazine's Fashion Design of the Year 2010, Best Dressed Men 2010, 2011, FAB Magazine Fashion Brand of the Year 2010, The Redefinition Covenant University Contribution of Fashion 2010, Allure Most Stylish Man of the Year 2010, The Style Best Dresses Men 2010, and lots more. On a personal note, My Atafo loves music, salsa dancing, spoken words, poetry, and he is a Manchester United fan. Today, he's married to Christine Atafo. The couple are parents to a beautiful, beautiful girl.
Now, what a fun way to end the program. My Atafo on Celebrity Spot. My Atafo, the Nigerian fashion designer, has gone around the world, making a name for himself, and of course for Nigeria, because that is the brand. He's a Nigerian. Lots of accolades, lots of awards. What can we say about him? Well, it's Arise Africa, and this is how we're going to draw the curtain. And it's been wonderful having you with me. Unfortunately, Chichi couldn't make it today, but I promise to have her here next time, because for me, it's been a bit boring not having her by my side. And so next time, Chichi is going to join me. But it's been a wonderful time having you on Arise Africa. It's been a fun ride all the way. Hope you enjoyed this episode. Hoping to see you next time. My name remains Temi Akriyene. Bye for now.